Oh man, do we got a lot to go through. Let's get started. Welcome, fellow Gear Pod, Joe Pop Putty Man here, and welcome to my episode 6 review / Easter eggs for Wandavision. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm your host, Putty Man. Now, first and foremost, if you're here and you do enjoy the content, please make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's quick and simple, but you don't realize how huge it helps a content creator like myself. All right, so there's a lot we're going to have to go through, but I'm going to try to go through as quickly as possible. Things are changing a lot. And for those that may not be aware, I have this theory that no one else has really pointed out, but in the comic books during the House of M, Wanda does this thing where she says no more mutants. And I have stated I think she's already done the no more mutants line, and it happened prior to MCU, which I will go into detail later on. But today we're going to be talking about the WandaVision episode and going through some particular scenes that I want to go through. First and foremost, they do go for the 90s motif of doing more like a Malcolm in the Middle type setting. And we do see that it's a 90s type Malcolm in the Middle, but we both see that Billy and Tommy are the ones that are corresponding with this. And they talk to the screen just like the actor did for Malcolm in the Middle. Now that you get to timestamp 335, you're going to see that Wanda is now wearing her traditional comic book outfit from the Marvel Comics, the Scarlet Witch outfit, which I have posted a picture down below. This is actually is a slight variant where she's not wearing the stockings from her arms to her legs, but it definitely does have the mask, the cape, and the basic chest to the body piece of it. So it definitely is a homage to it, which I'm pretty sure this is the episode that Vision also wears his as well. So be aware the costume that Vision's going to wear is the exact same version in the comic book. Of course, in the movie, at least Vision has, as far as all the movies, Vision has been closer to what he looks like in the comics compared to what Wanda has for her Scarlet Witch in the comics. So that's why I wanted to point this out right here. We also do find out that Pietro, aka Quicksilver, Wanda's brother, is now living with them on the couch, which sounds a lot like something that would happen in the 90s show anyway. So putting that in was definitely a nice little charm. But as we go into the episode, I discussed some of the things that might have changed my idea of what's happening, which I will go through later on in the episode. Now, as we continue on the first part of the episode, the initial intro, we see that it definitely has a Malcolm in the Middle vibe, just like the old Fox TV show. And you do see that there's Wandavision in their costumes in the background, which I did already talk about hers, and well, both of theirs actually. And I didn't mention, but I love how he mentions that she likes wrestling, so that's why he's wearing the outfit. It's a cute little thing to make him wear his own outfit and try to give it an idea, but it's awfully weird. But, the scenario in this is Vision's going off for security, which he's lying about. And, of course, we migratingly see them all going trick-or-treating together. Now, 6 minutes and 41 seconds into the episode, you're going to notice that Wanda said that she had no costume, or that Pietro had no costume, and that he ends up putting on his traditional Quicksilver outfit, which you can see right below, of course, my camera. But what I find really ironic about this is if you look, Tommy is wearing the same Quicksilver outfit that his Uncle Pietro is wearing. And you may say, well, what's the big deal on that if you're not a big comic book fan? Well, if you are a comic book fan, you would know this. But Tommy ends up being Speed in the comic books, and he ends up getting the same powers as his Uncle Pietro, which is being fast. So it's kind of ironic to see Tommy dressed up as Quicksilver in this part when they both go trick-or-treating, which is both, it's really a really nice Easter egg they're doing in the episode. Next, I want to go into the whole Hayward situation. Hayward is freaking suspicious to me. There's something going on. I don't know what, but I think he might be working for Hydra instead of S.W.O.R.D. Remember, Hydra has infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. Why wouldn't they infiltrate S.W.O.R.D.? But this could be just this part. This could be them trying to infiltrate Sword, and maybe down the road Nick Fury will stop it. There's no telling. I actually think that Hayward actually could be a Skrull. No, it's a big twist, but I have a feeling that Hayward could be a Skrull. Now, 9 minutes and 34 seconds into the episode, we see that Billy and Tommy are going trick or treating with their mom and, of course, their uncle. And one thing I wanted to bring up is, of course, if you remember, I stated that Tommy was dressed up as Quicksilver because he ends up becoming Speed. But I don't know if you notice this as well. If you're not a fan of the comic book, you'll notice that Billy, aka Wiccan, is actually wearing his comic book outfit as well. Now, of course, Speed looks kind of like himself because he's got the gray hair just like his uncle does. But I love how they took the look of Wiccan, aka Billy's look, and did the one from the comic book as well. So let's go and continue on to the next part. Also, other notable things that you might notice in the Halloween scene is, first off, I didn't comment about this earlier, but I love how they spiked up Evan Peters' hair to look just like the one in the comic book, which is really funny because comic book characters' hairs always have the craziness, so I love that they embrace this. But also, I love that if you look over here to the right, you see a Jason character wearing a Freddy shirt. So someone decided to be Freddy and Jason, so I guess this is considered Freddy versus Jason. But as I went through the Halloween stuff, I'm trying to find distinct outfits that might be characters from the comic book, and I haven't noticed any yet. But if you did notice any, please comment below. There might be some of these outfits that you see that might be, might be outfits in the comic book.
Kick-ass.
Okay, I had to bring that up. So if you're not familiar, in the scene, one of the says say kick-ass, and she says kick-ass. Here is the reason why that's a great reference. If you're not familiar, Aaron Taylor Thomas, right here, if you see on Google, he actually plays the old Quicksilver, okay? And he also played in a movie called Kick-Ass. But the ironic thing about all this that I want to explain to you guys, if you did not noticing it now, I'll point it out. Evan Peters was in Kick-Ass as Ass Kicker. Okay? So the reason I bring this up is because it's going full circle for her to talk about Quicksilver being Kick-Ass and then all of a sudden Ass Kicker being Evan Peters. No one in the world noticed this. And I had brought it up to somebody, and I can't remember who it was. This was years back. And I should have made a video on this because now it's ironic to see that Kick-Ass, which was Quicksilver, is the old Quicksilver in the MCU, and now the new Quicksilver, which is the old Quicksilver from the Fox that's new in the MCU, was Ass Kicker and Kick-Ass, and Kick-Ass and Ass... your brain's probably exploding right now. Let's get back to the episode. Also, I do want to mention that this isn't actually owned by Disney, but they clearly did it. You can see that a kid is dressed up as Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat in the background. I had to point that out. I love the game. Also, I do want to mention, and it looks like I'm going to be going back to this particular scene with the trick-or-treaters a lot in this review, and the Easter eggs, but I'm really, really curious about one thing. I know it looks like a statue in the background because everything else is moving and it's not moving, but the way it's looking into the camera really gives it some kind of spooky vibe, or it may be a hint of something. So I just had to point this out. Look at this character here. Now, this looks like it might be just some kind of prop that's in the, the thing for them trick-or-treating. But just the way they position this thing here, I don't know if that's a character in the Marvel Comics that I'm not aware of. But if you know if that is a character in the Marvel Comics, please comment below. I had to point this out. This is a very crazy looking thing here that I had to, point out. Anyway, back to the review. Now, 23 minutes into the episode, you hear Pedro, aka Quicksilver, state that he talks to her about nightmares, about the nightmares that she might be inducing, or nightmares just in general. I should have quoted the line itself, but the reason why I bring this up is because there is a character in Marvel lore called Nightmare. And Nightmare actually is a recurring villain from Marvel Comics that's most commonly serving as an enemy to Doctor Strange and Ghost Rider. Now, Mephisto was another one that we had talked about, was another connection that also connects both to Doctor Strange and Ghost Rider. And if you look, even in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there's been talks about the whole thing about a reoccurring nightmare, things of that nature, where um, they asked about the Scarlet Witch nightmare fuel that happened, so on and so forth. And then even I've noticed that some other places have also noticed this, but since he said this actually could ring true. Nightmare might be the villain of WandaVision, and here's why. His powers consist of capturing astral forms, expertise in torture, summoning, casting illusion, weaponizing fears, immortality, teleportation, using magic, and possession. Possession. Which could be done to her and because of her powers. But what makes this more surreal and even more fantastical, I should say, is that in this whole situation, we notice also that we are combining things from the other world of Fox a little bit with Petro, which also could deduce the last thing that was made, which was New Mutants, where there was nightmare fuel. Everyone's nightmare came true. I know I'm digging deep a lot with this, guys, but come on, man. We're starting to see the blurred lines of Fox come in. And honestly, I think what I'm stating is still true. She said no more mutants prior to the MCU, and now we're finally starting to see everything merge because she's losing control of her powers. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I've had this theory that she said no more mutants and everything, and it happened. But the thing that's confusing me is why she recast her brother with a different body. Like, okay, so we can clearly see that what she's seeing is the body of her brother when he died in Age of Ultron. Okay, what you're seeing right here on the screen, right there. But what makes this so odd is why would she recast the face, though? Like, why would she do a different face? I'm going to still stick with my no more mutants theory, but this might have broken my theory, or maybe it enhanced it. See, here's my thing. Remember, she might have blocked the memories, like I stated. Like I told you, for those that aren't aware of my theory is this: that before MCU, Doctor Strange communicated with Wanda in the past, stating that we cannot have mutants because if they had mutants, they'd be too powerful, and Thanos would have won the Infinity Saga. So, with the Infinity Gauntlet. So, she said no more mutants. They were put into the Fox universe. MCU continued. There was the one opportunity for Iron Man to win. Iron Man won. And now the mutant world, aka Fox world, is bleeding into this world. And that's my whole theory. That's the reason why prior she said no more mutants. That's why we see Evan Peters as that, because it's that Quicksilver that's her brother that is on the other universe. It's I know it's crazy thinking about it, but the point I'm trying to make here is I still want to sit by my theory, which unfortunately I had like a 90% thought that it was true, and now this may have dropped it more to like a 75% or even 50%. I'm still lost. I want my theory to be true, but this could have broken it right here. Again, comment below what you guys think. Maybe it didn't break it. Maybe this proves it to be true because if she was to use her brother's body but then change the face, then that means that maybe, and just maybe, that she's, what's the word I'm looking for? That she's using an old memory from the Fox world of Quicksilver and not the MCU Quicksilver. Again, comment below. Let's continue. Now, at this moment in the episode, we see that they find out that Speed, aka Tommy, has his powers. Which, again, it is the preteen. These kids are at their preteen age, which they would end up getting their mutant powers around this time. Just like they do in does in the comics when it comes to X-Men and mutants in general. Then they also make a little quip here about how she says to him, "What happened to your accent?" And he says the same thing to her. Also, there is a point where she also says that he looks different, which if she did cast away her memories and then said no more mutants, she would not remember what her brother actually looks like. And if she did make an alternate universe, she would maybe possibly change the way he looks. It's such a broken aspect that I kind of go later down the road of it. But I'm going down a rabbit hole that I hope is true when it comes to the no more mutants. being said prior. Now, going back to around 1121, I did want to bring up something that I kind of skipped on, was the whole idea of everyone in a stasis to where they can't move. This lady starts crying as she does the same thing over and over again, and Vision is aware of it now, okay? And again, there's definitely magic to it and everything. There's definitely her holding these people hostage. What I think is if she's not in the area with them, then what ends up happening is we they end up frozen because there's no reason for her to keep them moving, or they're out of her range of her control. It's hard to think because she's definitely strong enough to have to change everything. So I don't know if this maybe is because of Hydra controlling her, or about Nightmare controlling her. I know, a little bit twisted, but I'm going to get to that in just a little bit. And you might be wondering what I mean by Nightmare. Let me get into that now. Next, we get into the commercial. The commercial actually shows a yogurt called Yo Magic, which ends up being dark because, first off, Yo Magic, I don't know if there's something to that I'm not aware of in the Marvel Comics. I did some research for this, and I didn't see anything about Yo Magic. Now, of course, we know magic is involved, and this could be something that she's trying to stay in the outside world. I'm not sure. But the reason I say this goes dark is because in this commercial, the kid can't open up the yogurt container and then dies. And I don't know if this is something like she's saying she can't open up, or because she can't stop Hydra from controlling her, and she's afraid that everyone's dead. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Comment below if there's a meaning behind this that you might be aware of that I'm not. Definitely go ahead and comment below and tell me what you think of the meaning of this is. Okay, so next we have why Pedro is there. Pedro said that he heard his sister calling him Wanda, which could go back to, I mean, again, if he is the other Quicksilver, how would he hear her calling her unless because her powers are so strong that even the dead could hear her? God, there's so many twists to this series that it makes your brain hurt, but it's so interesting. I'm still sticking with the No More Mutants theory, but things are going a little bit crazy here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, now we have the scene with Agnes right here that's in her car. Now, this Agnes is frozen in place, but she's able to talk. And, of course, it's because she's away from Wanda in that area. But she also begins to tear up in this scene. And as Vision brings her to life outside of her control in the world, she sees Vision like she never seen him before, and then states that asks if she's dead because he's dead. He's not even aware he's an Avenger in this situation. You know what I'm saying? He has no idea he's an Avenger, and then so she thinks she's dead, but then she starts to cackle, which makes me think of the Agatha theory that she could be Agatha, but at the same time she would be aware she's Agatha. But again, she starts cackling when she's not in the zone, and then goes back to normal, and even turns around and drives back into town. So I think it still could be Agatha. Then, of course, we have the Ellis Avenue, which, if you heard Wanda earlier, she stated to her kids, do not go to past Ellis Avenue, which Vision does do here, which is, of course, we find out now is the boundaries of leaving outside. But Agnes, aka Agatha, whatever she might be, was leaving towards this area. So I don't understand. Is she being controlled? Because the thing is, that's the reason why I feel like maybe Hayward might be working for Hydra, and Hydra's the one that's controlling Wanda, and in the same way has agents in there, which would be why Agnes and all of them are in there. But they might be agents that are being controlled and don't even know it. It's such a crazy thing on what they're doing here that I'm intrigued but very confused, and I can't wait till all sums up. And now we get to the point where Vision is trying to escape the wall, and in doing so starts getting torn apart. And now, here we go, guys. This is when I think Wiccan is getting his powers. Again, like I stated before, these kids are at the age now where they're becoming teenagers and would get their mutant powers. And with his brother into the mold, I think all is coming together because I think he's about to let his father escape right here. Because remember, Vision stated right before the scene, or not Vision stated, the Vision's trying to get outside the wall as this all happens. I think Wiccan and both Speed are both getting their powers, aka Tommy and Billy. Love this episode. By the way, another hint that might be about the whole dead thing with Vision and, of course, with her brother, Quicksilver. If you look right here, there's a theater playing a movie within Town Square. This movie right here is Night of the Living Dead. Why would they show that movie in particular? I think there's a reason for it. Now, of course, we see that Wanda is pushing the barrier either out or moving it. But as we see it, it shows that she changed Sword's location into a circus. And I don't know if they're doing some deep cuts when it comes to Marvel and deciding to bring in the circus of crime. That would be a deep cut if they did. I honestly don't know. This whole episode has brought confusion into a lot of it. And as she's changing this area, you do see that Darcy also is now in the bubble. So how it's going to change her, I have no idea. And now, the circus is in town. Whether it's not the circus of crime or not, this episode has brought a lot more questions in my eyes than answers. I want to know what you guys think. Comment below. Please definitely tell me what I missed when it comes to Easter eggs. I'm always trying to put this video together where I don't have time to actually do more research like other channels like Screen Rant. And the reason I state that, which I just did a name drop, but anyway, the reason I state that is because they have all the tools and they have all the viewers to be able to do their reviews way later. That's why I have to do mine so early to make sure I can get those views. And so sometimes I miss a lot of things, and I feel like in this episode I'm definitely missing a lot of things. I went into detail a few points whenever Darcy is looking at the computer. I saw Ray Johnson. I don't know what that's a reference to or anything like that. If you know what Ray Johnson in the Marvel Universe is a reference to, I don't think it's Beta Ray Bill, which would be funny because Billy, Beta Ray Bill, that could be a reference. I don't know. I don't think so. But anyway, but Ray Johnson, I couldn't find anything. My point to the whole thing is when I'm trying to put this together quickly and find Easter eggs, I tend to skip over some stuff. So, and I'm currently recording this at like 4:30 in the morning. So, guys, I appreciate time. Again, if you can, if you can, hit that subscribe button. I hope the Easter eggs I was able to bring to you were beneficial and intriguing. And make sure you guys come back for the review of the last episode. I think that's the last episode. I think 7 is the last episode next week. So make sure you be here for that review. But as always, I am Putty Man with Gamer Potheads. I appreciate you guys watching. And do not forget, we're all about high score. Thank you, and I'll see you guys till next Friday. Peace.